across 11 different platforms, about 40, 50 pieces of content, and it will take me about 40 minutes.
So, do you do the editing outsource?
I have an assistant, a really good assistant called Christian, who's probably watching now that we're live streaming, and he's a beast. So he'll go and listen to this podcast, and then he will find some bits that he thinks are valuable. He'll say, "What do you think of these clips?" I'll say, "Bonza," and then he'll put them into little templates with branding on them, resize them, get them transcribed, make them into blogs, and
that's epic, man.
Dude,
good leverage system.
Yeah, man. Well, we've got babies now, right? We got to be.
You got to think like that, right?
Think differently. But anywho, I'll do a little intro here. Welcome back, everybody, to the Coaches to the Moon podcast. This is episode 21, attempt number 3, because the first one I did was by myself, had no audio. The second one I did, we had a storm, cut it out, and now here we are with attempt number 2 at interviewing the amazing Zac Dixon. He's a very good friend of mine. I don't think he needs an introduction, but I will give you a quick intro. He's a breakthrough coach. He's a money coach. He's an all-round fantastic dude. I've known him for about 6 years now, and I'm just really excited to have you here, Zachy. Thanks, mate.
Thanks for letting me come on. I've been seeing you with a few different people come on, which is awesome. I'm like, when's my go? Now you finally reached out, which is good.
You're a hard man to reach. You know, you're a busy boy. You got a successful coaching business. You have a new. Well, your son is, I think, 3 weeks older than my daughters.
Yeah, about 15 months nearly.
Yeah, something crazy like that. So we're in exactly the same space at the same time. I've got to say, I bought Wiggles tickets today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Super dad.
Yeah. We're going to see the Wiggles. We're in the 3rd row. We're very excited. And,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, man. I'm loving the dad life. How's being a dad changed the way you're running your business and making decisions now that Zane's in the picture?
Well, first of all, I think I don't think massively it's changed hugely with what I do, because I've always been kind of a person that loves working. Like I'm just a person that loves working. I love getting on coaching calls. You know, that's why I love doing one-on-ones. That's like my thing. I just love connecting with people. I've always loved that. But pretty much it's more of it gives me more of a purpose, and it gives me more of a reason to push to a greater height. You know, I feel when it was just myself and, you know, when it was me and my wife, we'd have we had goals and we'd hit it and we'd have fun. We'd do all this kind of stuff. But now it's more grounded. It's more grounded and it's more future based. It's kind of like, what is everything that I do right now, my son's going to watch. You know, I'm realizing he copies me with a lot of things that I do. You know, like I told you before we started, like I do Wim Hof breathing, or I meditate, and he copies me. And he, like, when I breathe in deep, he copies me. So I feel like what I've learned, and what I feel like, I guess a lot of people would have learned, they just model you straight away. So I feel it's helped me more to say, I'm going to push more and go for more in my life, because I want to be an example, not a warning to my son. You know, so I'm going to lead by example and not say, you've got to do this. Let me show you first. And you do what, you'll follow and get influenced by what I do, not what I say. It's like the smoker that says, don't smoke, son. You know, there's people like that. It's insane. But I'm like, why do you think they smoke? Why do you think you only model your parents? That's what I've realized as well with coaching. Like, you know, you become like your mom, or you become like your father, or you resent your father, or you resent your mom. You get influenced by that. So that's kind of how it's changed. I don't think it's massively changed, but my wife's so amazing. She, breastfeeds and everything like that, which is freaking hard. Like, the respect I have for women now is insane. Like, just from that perspective, like, that's so hard. Like, some of them even grow businesses while they're doing it. That to me is like mind blowing. But I'm like, I got really good support. She always says to me, like, when I'm like, hey, I've got a call, or I can do it, she always goes, no, you go. So she does a lot of that, and she supports it. So I'm very lucky in that degree.
We are lucky, aren't we? We are very lucky. Although we both work from home and we have our own businesses, we can kind of be sort of present. There's also, you're a business owner, so you do have to take care of things that is solely falling on your shoulders. So like, but my wife, Ali, she will spend the whole day with these girls, like 3 days a week. And I'm exhausted after an hour with them by myself. And she just crushes it. So, I mean, Angela is a beast, because Angela, you know, she was a businesswoman as well. She still is, but I know she's taking some time with Zane. Are you feeling like you're the dad that there's more pressure on your shoulders now, or are you just so, you know, confident that that's not really a feeling you're getting?
Well, kind of from my perspective, I'm like, well, I feel like we're in a really good position before we had a child. You know what I mean? Like my business was in a really solid position financially. So it kind of put a lot of stress anyway, but it's kind of like for me right now, I'm doing a lot more leverage kind of things because I'm not working all the time. Like, I feel like I'm working the same as I was before. You know, I don't believe in like just hustling and things like that. I believe in smart work. And you know, getting on coaching sessions, getting on calls that are going to lead to some form of business growth. But all right, like I would say 3 to 4 hours throughout the day. Sometimes, like yesterday, I had 4 hours throughout the day that, you know, I can take the weight off Angela and say, hey, you can go to the gym, go for a run or whatever, and I can take Zane for a little bit. So it's kind of like goes a bit hand in hand sometimes. But you know, the obviously the mums are they just crush it, man.
Yeah.
Like I can't do that. I can't do what they do. Like that to me is profound for them. But yeah, that's what I'll say. But I feel like when you said, do I have stress on my shoulders? Not really, because I feel like the business is in a really good position.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm present with my son.
Yeah, man. Well, I also think that if you'd answered that there was stress on your shoulders, I wouldn't believe it was coming from you, because your whole business is massively about, you know, the law of attraction. What you put out is what you bring in. And
yes,
you know, I've been through periods where I've been stressed and you've coached me through it. And Ali's been stressed, you've coached her through it. And so you've got the tools and techniques to do that, which is kind of makes me want to ask you about the law of attraction, actually, because you believe massively in the law of attraction. It's one of the main concepts of your coaching, and it really helps your clients get a lot of results.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest thing you see people get wrong with the law of attraction, and what can they do to improve that?
Okay, that's a really good question. I reckon from everyone that I've worked with, the biggest thing is they are excited at the start of the concept of it. And I feel like they're like at the start, it's like, whoa, this new thing Zac's talking about. Like, if I just visualize what I want, I'm going to get it. And I realize I can remember it happened with you as well, where you'd be so excited at the start and you're doing everything that I said, because, you know, certainty always wins. And I'm like, if you just do this, you start feeling like it and living like it's already happened, it will, you know, life will catch up. You know, things don't happen straight away, but things will happen over time. So there's two things that I would say. The first one is there's person A and person B. Person A, this is like the first one, would be they start doing the internal work. They do it for 2 weeks, feeling good. And then all of a sudden they hit a plateau and go back to the old unconscious program. And then they're like, why doesn't it work? I did it for 2 weeks and it didn't work. So they don't do it lasting enough, because everything you see right now in the physical world is just previous thinking. So what are you seeing right now, Alex, in your physical world, the way it's going, whether life's going good? You know, you said to me before, life's going pretty good, right? Well, the reason is because that's from previous thinking. And it catches up over time because there's a time delay between the metaphysical and the physical world. Metaphysical, just another way of saying it, is what I'm feeling right now. You know, if I close my eyes, there's another world going on right now. Just like dreams. If I have a dream, is that real? Or it's not really real. I can't grab the dream and give it to my wife and say, hey, listen to my dream, you know, because that's physical. But when I'm in the dream, does it feel real? Of course, because I'm experiencing it. You know it's real. You know the dream's real, but you can't, you know, put it into tangible things in the physical world. So that would be the first. I think that would be the first one, where people don't last long enough. It's like going to the gym 2 weeks. It's not going to get results. There's a time delay, and if you do it for long enough, your body will change, your physical world will change, your bank account will change. The second thing that people do wrong, I feel, is they get what they want after a month or 2 months. I usually say 6 to 8 weeks. They start manifesting more money. They start manifesting, and then they stop doing all the things they were doing before. And all of a sudden, the next 6 to 8 weeks sucks. It's kind of like you finally got the carrot. Oh my God, I finally got it. I feel really amazing. Do you know what? I'm too good for all this meditation crap. And all of a sudden they go backwards again. They go back to their unconscious program. And if you're not getting ready every single day by programming your mind, someone else will program it for you. The media, the news, Facebook, Instagram, it's going to program you. So you just got to make sure that every morning when you get up, you're taking care of you before you look and get influenced by physical reality crap.
Before you check the phone,
totally. Always. That's why I always used to say to you, when people want to get better with money, you got to start your day feeling good with money, because the first 20 minutes of the day, you're in theta brainwaves. Theta brainwaves means you're in highly suggestible brainwaves. Everything that goes into that brainwave comes true. I'm not sure if you ever looked at your phone and then you got an email from a client or whatever, and then it triggers you, and then you get out of bed stressed out. Like, you're only programming yourself every morning to become stressed. But if you can tap into, you're just coming out of a sleep state, right before you go to sleep or right when you wake up, first 20 minutes, put money affirmations on. If you want to get better with money, put it on. It'll program your mind. Because when you get up and start doing it and put money affirmations later on in the day, your analytical mind will protect it a lot more and be like, I don't believe this shit. This is bullshit. It'll protect it more. But if you do it in the morning, you're just half asleep. So you're like, I am a money magnet. Money comes to me. It just naturally goes into the mind without analytical processing.
Yeah, wow. That's a really, really good way of explaining it. Far out. So your analytical mind is the thing that stops most people from probably getting anywhere with the law of attraction, because they start to doubt it.
Well, this comes a little bit deeper to say, why do we meditate? People say, I don't want to meditate. This is the reason we meditate. It's not to sit down, quiet your mind. I don't believe in that. Like, whatever, you can quiet your mind, you quiet your mind. The reason we meditate is to slow brainwaves down, because when you're focused on the physical world, you're focused on Facebook, you're focused on coaching people, you're in more of a beta brainwave. So beta brainwave means I'm focusing more on the physical world. I'm amplified, like what I'm in right now. I'm in more of a beta brainwave state because I'm very focused on your questions, or I'm very focused on that. So if I'm trying to slow that down, or let's just say I'm running a program which I'm just reacting to stresses in the physical world, let's just say, and someone says, I want you to really feel that you can make 100 grand a month. And you're just like, there's no way I can do that, because you're in beta brainwaves, because you're focusing on the physical world. How am I going to do that? But if I get you to slow down your brainwave multiple times a day, I'm changing your brainwave chemistry in the body and everything. Your biochemistry changes. And if I can get you into an alpha, which is more focusing on the internal than the outside, and then even go lower to theta, that's what you do through meditation. Okay. Then when I'm in a meditative state and I'm relaxed, then I can start placing pictures in my mind of what I want. $100,000 a month, let's just say, if someone wants that, they get $100,000 a month, they put elevated emotion when they're in a relaxed state, and there's no analytical saying, there's no way you can do that. You believe it. You're fully in the metaphysical. You're fully in what they call the quantum field. That's what they call the quantum field, or, different label for it. But really, it's just you're in the metaphysical. You're getting clear intention. There's not 50 things going on at once. There's one thing. I want the 100K coming in. And then you're feeling it. You're associating. You're in theta. You can't go into theta naturally by just living like this. You're in beta. You're in analytical mind. But the thing about us, because we've just had a child, or you've had two twins, they're in theta brainwaves right now. They're in delta and theta. They don't have an analytical part of the brain. That's why the first 0 to 7 years, everything that goes on around them, no matter what you say, that's what I said before. If I just act like a good person, if I act like, the person I'm running a business, I'm being present to my son, he will learn that. Why? Because he's in theta brainwaves.
Yeah, man. It's, I'm very aware of that. And when we're stressed in the middle of the night, or baby's waking up and you catch yourself, with a little bit of anger going on or whatever, when it's the third wake up of the night, it doesn't happen so much anymore. But when they were super little, then I catch myself from the kind of coaching work we've done, which is like, you need to speak to their subconscious right now, because if you go too hard saying that they're being a bad baby or whatever, they might start to believe that as they grow up.
It's not that they might believe that. They have to believe that, because everything is a sponge. Everything is a sponge. They have to. So how many times have I coached people that are like, yeah, when I was 5 years old, I got this picture of when I was 5, and, my mom or dad said to me, oh, you just don't deserve this right now. As anger as anyone would. And by the way, when I say this, everyone's doing the best they can. Like, as much as you're trying to make sure, the end of the day, you're doing the best you can. The end of the day, that's all you can do. I'm not like taking a poke. Like, I've struggled with a lot of things where I've reacted. I'm like, I got triggered. I guarantee your kids have triggered you. I've got massively triggered, and I've maybe acted out or whatever. You're doing the best you can with the resources that you have. But I'm just saying, everything in that 6 to 7 years is crucial, in my opinion. But I'm seeing it with my eyes. We'll see how I go, because I'm going pretty full tilt with the programming.
I've seen you do it. On your Instagram. You're doing affirmations for Zane. You're teaching him to look you in the eye, do handshakes, that kind of thing. Yes. Awesome, man. I love it. I love it. You're an inspiring dude, Zachy. And what's interesting, all the stuff you just talked about, law of attraction, metaphysical, meditation, this is the kind of thing you hear from a lot of people who then get no results in their life and business. I was thinking about what is it about Zac that makes him different? And he can spend so much time on the internal, but you also have the external skills as well. You're a really, really good salesperson. I've bought pretty much everything you've ever offered to me. And no matter how hard I try not to, do you think that a person can just suddenly become a better salesperson with one mindset shift or one skill? Or do you think it just has to be a big buildup of experience?
Okay, so I think if I look back on my life, on how I've kind of where I was to where I am, I feel like there's certain skill sets that you need. Like if we're talking to coaches, let's just say right now, I think there's certain skills that you've got to learn and are crucial. As much as you do the internal, and I talk about that is the most important thing, it is. That's what I really believe, because what we're placing in our mind right now is going to come to us over time, not straight away, over time. So that's why you got to work on the internal. But there's certain skills that you got to learn physically that I feel like if I didn't have, there's no way I would be doing what I'm doing right now. You know, sales, huge. You need to learn it. You know, when I struggled for the first 4 years of my business and I didn't make much money, I was good at skill set because I was an NLP trainer. I had all the tools that you could think of, which probably you've already got too. I had all the tools you could think of. I was like the person, you know, that had all the skills, but I was still broke, still didn't have money, still struggling. It wasn't until I was around someone or I learned a model and I was around, you know, that around money and also around sales, because they go hand in hand too. If you've got a shitty relationship with money, you're not going to be good at sales. Because how are you going to ask for a price at the end of the call? How are you going to feel? You'll fumble. You'll be confident at the start, but then as soon as you get to the end, you'll fumble because you're not comfortable talking about money. So I think that is a huge cruise, a sales. So I got good at sales by being around someone, got a model. I didn't fully agree with the person that I was that I learned from's model fully. You know, I got a lot of cool stuff from it. But then you kind of mold it into, I practice it over and over again. Like I used to record my own sales calls. I would listen to my own sales calls and I would look at what is the process, because I was unconscious about my own process. And then I unpacked it and said, okay, this is what I do. This is what I do. This is what I do. And you get rewarded in public for what you practice in private. And I practice and I practice and I practice. And I think you would know, because I was hammering you when I was coaching you to say, you got to do this, you got to do this. I used to walk to the gym 20 minutes every day years ago, and I used to objection handle myself. I would use both parts of the brain. I'd be like, use the creative one. Oh, I just don't know if it's the right time right now. And then I would straight away say what I would say back. Like I just practice over and over again. So now it's so effortless. So I feel if I didn't have that, you'd struggle. As much as the internal stuff you do, you might attract quality clients, but you just won't get them over the line. When I talk about all this internal, I'm not around sitting on your bed waiting for money to come in. You got to have skills. You got to be able to market. You know what you're a marketer. You got to know how to market. Otherwise, no one's going to listen to you. Now, marketing doesn't just mean generating leads. I believe marketing means like you got to have a personality that people are interested in. You know what I mean? Like, why would someone? I always say to people, ask yourself, if you look at your Instagram, your Facebook, would you buy from you? You know, like the person that comes on and they're like, hey guys, I'm here. I wouldn't pay 10, 20 grand to that person. I wouldn't pay him $1,000. You see what I mean? Like it goes into comparison. Like think about it. I always say this to all clients as well when I'm teaching this. If Tony Robbins right now, you didn't know Tony Robbins. No one knew him, but he had the same presence, the same certainty, the same, charisma that he has. And he got on a call with you and he offered you $100,000 service. You'd probably buy it.
Yeah.
Without even knowing his brand, because his personality is so, that's the marketing machine. See what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, being your own message. Like that's the thing in the coaching space.
Yes.
So much, everyone is their own product. They are their own service, their own brand. And so people need to do the internal work to become the person that they need to be, to generate the lead and to make the sales. It's a big connected ecosystem of you can't just have one element. And I think what you were saying about coaches being really knowledgeable, that's just having one element.
Sure.
Or, if I could, I had a client recently, and it's a real shame. We generated like 300 phone numbers for this guy and he got no sales. He couldn't sell a single one of them. So that's missing an element, but also when he talks about it, it was never his fault. It was always the fault of the person on the other end of the phone.
Yeah.
Never his fault. He's
so, but it's his fault. So you know it's his fault. And you know what we talked about before, why the internal, exactly what you did. You've measured up perfectly. Why we do the internal is because, like, let's just say I taught you how to sell and you didn't have the personality behind it. Would you sell? If I taught you the exact model, but you didn't have the personality, would it work if you weren't grounded in speaking it?
No, because then it's just words.
Totally. That's why you can go to a business coach. You could go to someone, and if they don't teach you the internal, that's why I hammer on it. Good luck, because they'll give you every single thing that you need. And I'm all for it. Everything they teach is correct. You can get sales with it. But without the character, without the personality, without the identity, you're screwed.
Do you remember what I said to you when we started working together? I said, I don't need any more strategy to know how to run a business. And it was a big flip. So, you know, you never told me any advice on how to run the business. All you did was you smashed me with mindset work. And it was a massive, massive shift. And I think
so just so I can ask you a question right now, really quick. Like, let's just say, so people understand, because you're actually the perfect person to say this. I remember what was some of the stuff that I got you to do that was kind of like, no one, like, you didn't maybe make sense to why you were doing it, but you're like, all right, I trust Zac, so I'll do it, but it worked.
Well, what you had me do was you had me firstly get myself a bunch of statements or affirmations that I believed I wanted to believe in the future, I suppose.
Okay. Yeah.
So they weren't presently true. There were things like about the income I was dreamy of making. So I think I was aiming for sort of like 30 grand a month, that kind of thing. It was things about how I am confident with money and sales and ease, or I am consistently generating and attracting the perfect clients to my business.
Yes.
And you made me start saying them, you know, in that morning state, first thing in the morning, you know, before I had anything else happen, and, you know, do it a few times a day. And then stuff started working. So you started saying, do it more. And you got me to a point where for a week there, I was doing 1,000 affirmations a day, which takes a very long time to do 1,000 affirmations a day, especially when some of them are like the long ones. Like, I'm so happy and grateful that now.
Blah, long, blah, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And
but what happened? What changed? Was weird stuff happening in the physical world that started going your way, and you're like, whoa, like, what's going on?
Yeah, I would get messages out of the blue saying, you know, I've got a job for you, or can you do this? People I'd never spoken to or never even knew that they would ever want that service would text me or refer me to someone, or we got a 20 grand out of nowhere.
now I just want, this is the reason I wanted to ask that, because I knew you'd say something similar to that. Now, why would someone do 1,000 affirmations a day? If you're looking at over 7 days, that's 7,000 over a month. That's 30,000. When was the last coach that you know that did 30,000 affirmations in their life, let alone a month? Now, what I like to do is, this doesn't take massive amounts of time, but it takes discipline. And it takes discipline over and over again. Why does it work? You're probably like, how does affirmations just work? Well, think about it. Every communication has energy to it. Every thought has a wave to it. So it's been measured. Everything has a wave. So if it's the same as this, if I'm connected to you through a wave right now, we're connecting on the internet, we're connecting through a wave. How does, you're in a hotel, the Wi-Fi connect to everyone in there? Through waves. Now, every thought has a wave. If I message you on my phone right now, Alex, you'll get the message instantaneously. If I right now send a feeling saying I am wealthy, someone's going to message me right now. That message goes out to people in the field, which is the physical world, through the metaphysical. Things happen instantaneously, and it'll go to someone, and all of a sudden, I might think of you, Alex, and you're like, why do I think of Zac right now? Like, and all of a sudden, because we're energy. It's like when someone finally thinks about you, just think, when you start thinking about someone randomly, that's probably because they're either thinking of you or you're thinking of them, choosing to think of them. But usually, if you're not conscious about it, but if you're consciously like, oh, I remember this guy, all of a sudden, that energy goes out to that person. So we're all energy, and happens instantaneously. Just like if I close my eyes and think I'm in Hawaii, my body and mind believes it's there right now. It doesn't know the difference between what we imagine and what we experience. That's why you got to be very careful with what you put into your mind. Why I got you to do 1,000 affirmations, because I'm overriding your program. Your program's going to be like unconscious. You don't even know, because 96% were unconscious. like how am I going to make money? How do I think my old coach said to me, like, I got to do sales. I got to do, you're unconscious, whether you're consciously saying that or not, it's unconscious. So if I just absolutely hammer you multiple times a day, 300, you're reprogramming your mind, and this will become your unconscious home if you keep doing it.
And then you believe it, and then you act like the person who believes it, and then people see you as the person who believes it, and it all flows, right?
And then you start seeing the results, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to double. And then you get more excited about saying, I want it to work more. So you're going to do it more. That's the addiction you want. That's where the spiral goes up compared to stagnant. Okay, I'm going to do the business strategy. Hopefully it works. That's why people you might go to a business coach, do no internal work. They'll teach you a strategy. You do it. You might make 10K. But you're not going to make it the next month. You're not going to make it the next month. That's why you get the lucky coaches. Hey, I made my first 10K. You don't hear from them again.
Yeah, you see that a lot. You see that an awful lot. I wanted to ask you about that, by the way, because, everything you just said was phenomenal, by the way. Phenomenal. It's so interesting. And it always brings me back to realizing that although I'm super comfortable where I am now, and I've got my swagger, and I've got my confidence, and I feel just good about every part of my life.
Yep.
I know that this is not forever, and I am, creating now what's going to be happening in 3, 6, 12 months time. So I've got to, think about that.
Yeah.
But you talked about the coaches who got $10,000 one month and then nothing the next month. So much of your business, aside from the retreats, is one-on-one coaching. It's your time, an hour on the phone with someone to help them break through. But I keep seeing your income increase. How are you managing to keep increasing your income to, the multiple 6 figures, maybe even 7, when you and your time is the product? How are you managing to do that?
Okay, so there's a few things that I'd say. Okay, so I think right now, since I've had a son, you got to leverage yourself. So that's why I'm hiring right now, and I've got people that are starting off coaching for me now. So we're leveraging it a lot more that way, and taking care of a lot more marketing style, like doing videos, editing. So I don't do any of that kind of stuff anymore. So fully getting out of that. I'm pretty high level, like I, in a way of saying like this. I'm not one of those people that like, hey, let's work with 5 clients and it's too much and all that. I have a high standard of what I can I probably have around 30 plus clients I work with on a one-on-one basis. And, and that's kind of like some, I guess, every 2 weeks and stuff like that. But I like being on the front end like that. So it's kind of like getting a lot of reoccurring income. Like that's what I always believe. I feel like one of the biggest things coaches do wrong is they don't have reoccurring income for long enough. So they might sign up someone for 3 months. Great. But then they're like, oh, I finished off with that client. I've got to get new ones. Nah, like retention. Like retention gives you long-term money. Let's just say you got 30 people paying me for the next 12 months, $20,000-$30,000. You do the numbers on that. What is the reoccurring going to be? If you're looking at $2,500, $3,000 a month times 10, 20, what's that going to be?
Yeah.
Reoccurring every month without you doing anything. Pretty much all you're doing is serving and helping the client. This is what you got to focus more on, reoccurring income. Stop doing programs for 8 weeks, 12 weeks. Do 6 to 12 months. And if you're saying, I don't have that much value, well, get valuable. Far out. Learn more courses. Grow more. Far out. People want to pay you more money. Why would someone want to go to someone else when you're already making them money? So my biggest driver is get them results. Fire it so they stick around, they give you testimonials, they give you attention, they refer you people. That's how you grow an actual business. Because think about it, even if you help someone, Alex, get shitloads of leads in, they can't close, it's going to be pointless because they've got to fix what we talked about before. But just on top of that, what happens if they don't get the clients' results? It's just going to be a burnt out business. They get 10 clients in. Great, my client got 10 clients. What if they don't get them results? It's pointless. It's burning. It's burning a hole at both ends. It's just pointless. So what people do, so the goal is to get your clients results. My events, man. I get a lot of people coming back all the time, to my events. I'm very, I've got massive intent. People come like the 5th time back. I'm like, what the? Like people coming the 5th time back. I'm not really telling them any different content, but they love the environment. They want to get around it. So I think retention and getting client results is why I'm still standing in a really powerful position, because I get results. I'm not just here to say look at my track record. People buy from me. Like people get results. People make ridiculous amounts of money when they work with me, not because I'm so good, because I just help them with the exact model that I teach them. They go out and take action, but they're the right clients. And the way to attract the right clients is either you go to Alex and he markets it perfectly for you, or you go into the metaphysical and you realize that you influence matter reality and you start placing who you want in your head, which is what I do every day. Like if you go to my wife right now, she'll never say, she can't remember the last time I didn't do my internal work. Every night she knows. Every morning she knows. Throughout the day she knows. She's the one that lives with me. She'll tell you. I don't miss it. So I'm like, that is why I truly believe that is, where I am. And obviously the retreats help a lot as well. They're just like a really good thing for branding and things like that as well. And it always leads to new customers. But right now what I'm growing is a team of coaches. So it's not just me coaching, because I'm all about one-on-one. So I want to train up. That's what I'm doing right now. Got 2 so far on. I'm training them and they're working with clients. But yeah, I'm a big believer in one-on-one because it gets the best results, in my opinion.
That's massively exciting that you're bringing on more coaches. You're becoming an empire, man.
I'm doing my best.
You will, man. You will. I had a bunch of other stuff I wanted to ask you, but it's just not going to follow that. It's not going to follow what you just said. It was so cool. I love the true passion you have around get someone results and they'll stick around forever, because the recurring income, man, that's what you don't think about when you're in your first few months as a coach. You're chasing the sale and the cash, but then you get like the law of attraction, you get your 5 clients or your 3 clients, and you don't think about the next 12-week period. You're only thinking about now, and then they take the foot off the pedal a bit.
Totally they do. Yep, it makes sense. But why do you think why I love reoccurring income more than upfronts, more than anything? Like someone pays me an upfront, awesome. I'd rather just reoccurring. Why? Because reoccurring is guaranteed income. Now, what that means is if I get a 12-month contract, let's just say, and I blow them away in 12 months, I don't need to keep thinking, where do I get the next client? I'm thinking about how can I change. I always say, change the question. How do I get more clients to how do I serve my current clients? Change that wording. Focus on your own clients. There's a law of energy right now. The more I give, the more I'll get back. That's just a natural flow of energy. It's a law. So if I'm saying, if I give on this podcast to you, there's no reward financially for me on this podcast. But the reality is I'm giving energy. But energy will always get paid back. That's why if you're a person, you're a coach, right, jump on Alex's podcast. If he chooses you to go on there, jump on other people's podcasts, because you're giving energy. Every single time I've ever done that, you always naturally get rewarded. Not by the specific person, but by life.
Yes. I've never had a client from my podcast, but they always send me someone else. Always. And it's growing, man. My business is ironically a marketing business. I get all my clients from referrals, never from ads. Although
because you get results. I can promise if you didn't get results, your name would be flowing. He's shit. You see what I mean? Like people are obviously coming to you because you're getting people results.
Same with you, Zachy. Last question, because this is just hot shit that could go on forever. And I want it to, but I know you're busy and you've got places to be. So last question, Zac Dixon, if you were starting from today with 0 money and 0 followers, what would you do?
Okay. Good question. Okay. So this is what I would do. I'd build a program out for 8 weeks. I'd have an 8-week program that I would start filming. So I would back myself and be like, I'm just going to do the program. I'm going to go around to everyone. I'll do a massive amount of reach outs, video content for, a 30-day period. And everyone that likes or connects with me on the post, I'll send them a message and say, hey, I've got a course. It's totally free. Would you be interested in coming in it? So I get as many people as possible to come in for free for 30 days. And I'll say, hey, on top of that, I'll give you 2 coaching sessions, one-on-one, free. Now, what I would do on top is I'd get probably, let's just say 50 people in there. If I've got 50 people in there, it's a lot of work. So that's 100 hours of coaching. Step up. Like far out, seriously, it's not much. If you're literally going to think about the back end, if you're focusing on right now on the time, then you will probably fail. But if you're focusing on the long term, awesome. I get them all in there. I'd filter them out. I'd focus on getting them the results. Now, if they didn't get results, I'll say, look, the reason you didn't get results is because you didn't pay. If you don't pay attention. So we've learned that about you. But then what I would do at the end is I'd pitch them into some form of coaching, but I've already added value and I've shown them value. But if people loved it, but they didn't get the full results, I'd say, yeah, but it's an 8-week program. It was free, but did you love it? And they'll go, yes. And say, amazing. Would you like to jump onto my 6 to 12 month coaching program? Out of 60, let's just say I don't have much trust in the market. Maybe 20 will buy. So let's just do 20 for, let's just say $1,000 a month potentially, like as a low tier offer. $1,000 a month, locked in for 6 months. Let's just say, so that's 6K. 6K times 20, how much is that?
6K times 20, 120 grand.
Done. 6-figure coach. Done. Now what I would do is now I'm a 6-figure coach. I'd market that I am that. And then I would start breeding in clients. And the people that I'm working with, those 20 clients, I will get them results. I will say to them, I will get you. You pay me. And if you don't get these results, I'd even promise, if you don't get these results, I'll work with you until you do. So you've got to build your business on getting people results. That's how I'd make 6 figures within a couple of months.
There you go. That's how he's done it. That's how he will help you to do it as well. I guarantee it. I've seen the results myself. My wife, a lot of my friends, we've all been coached by Zac Dixon. And that's one of the most inspiring podcasts we have had here, if not the most. And I'm feeling pumped. And I'm just super glad to have had you on, man. That was a real pleasure.
No, thanks for having me on. You got to ask me back in a few months or a year or so, right? We'll come back. We'll jump back on. Dude,
see what happens. See what happens. I mean, like, how many Maseratis do you think you can buy between now and then?
I don't know, a few. maybe family cars now.
Family cars is the way to go, man. I've got the Prius. I'm loving the Prius. I've got the soccer mum car. We've got 3 car seats between us. We need space for the prams. Far out, man.
Yeah.
If you have another one come along, you're going to realize the amount of stuff you need in the house. My word.
Crazy. It's crazy. We got one and we got a crazy amount. So I totally understand.
Dude, I'm so proud of you. You're an amazing dude. You've done amazing things. And I really appreciate you coming on the podcast today. Anyone who's listening on Spotify, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. Anyone who's live streaming right now, will answer the comments and say what's up. So thank you, Zac. You're amazing. Say goodbye.
All right, chat soon, guys. Appreciate you having me on, man. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Much love. I'll see you all next week.